grin on his face.
2-3, I need you type of guy to defend other teams. Small forward.
Oh, no! Brandon Knight. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! It is nothing. He's down by as many as 16 in this game. What a spin move! Sohan the Destroyer!
Caruso on him, backing in. Continues to go to work with the move and the throwdown. Vicious. Scotty.
Pacers down 5 halfway through the third quarter. Downtown Indianapolis.
Good ball.
Turner.
Ahead to Banchero. Banchero going to take it, fly over the top of Joseph and draw the foul.
In terms of success, let's go into what ended up eventuating 4 years later after the last gold medal in the Olympics, and obviously ended up being Athens, Greece, and it was a failed team. They ended up losing and getting bronze. And for Team USA, and especially at that time with the players that were on that list, that was seen at the time, and I still remember, if you look back on it now, it is seen as one of the greatest failures of all time in American sports on the international stage, because of, it's one thing to have come second, right? So you're in the gold medal game and say you get beaten, it's sort of one thing, right? But the fact that they weren't even there and President had to play off for a third place, I still can remember it. I've seen it plenty of times of when they were being given the medals. And it was like they didn't even want them on their neck. They sort of just held their head down the whole time on the podium and you know what? That shows the feelings from the team and as a country towards their level of play in basketball. It's an American game, right? First sort of invented in the United States, and so therefore to lose in your own game, that was big, right? That was very big, and ultimately, culminating in a bronze medal. Any other team, like I said, for other teams, that's a big achievement because of the dominance of Team USA. But for USA, that's a loss. Talk to us first. I'm going to go to Trippy about sort of just your thoughts on that. It's some time ago now. It's 19 years ago. We would have still been quite young, but I still do remember it myself. What does that sort of spring to mind for you about that team and the failure that was? Because obviously you had Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, and just talent galore in that team too. And the fact that they couldn't get it together was sort of a bit of a detriment.
I think. Not even I think, I know. At this point, I know because I know the game now a little bit more than back then. At that time, it was more so the NBA thought because we just, according to them, we had the talent that we could just throw any and anybody out there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And all right, man, we know Allen Iverson and Marbury not working together. That don't even make sense.
Lamar Odom.
Like, come on, bro. Like, none of these players that they put together in that team actually made sense if you look back on it today. But no matter what, the talent level that was around overall throughout the world, there was no excuses not to get the job done. And it gets me more mad because, one of my favorite players, Allen Iverson, was on that team, and he would be the one to not get a championship and get a bronze medal. Like, come on, bro.
Couldn't even get the gold.
And then
gold.
Just to throw in there, guys, obviously, as you would assume, there was a World Cup in between, obviously, the gold medal win in 2000, the Sydney Olympics, and the 2004 defeat. Now, what I think magnified this loss as well, granted, not only the things we've mentioned, but the fact that you guys, Team USA had finished 6th in the 2002 World Cup. Just a complete nightmare of a tournament. Coaches was having George Karl, the coach, had a dispute with Paul Pierce, who was one of the few superstars on the team. He benched Paul Pierce, and who was the team's leading scorer, and it just was a nightmare. To finish 6th and not even place is quite horrible. So there was even that more sense of they wanted to sort of, I guess a World Cup's not seen nowhere near highly as the Olympics, but still to lose it all for Team USA in any sort of international competition is unacceptable. That's the way they see it. But they struggled to get they struggled to get players on that team. A lot of guys turned it down. It sort of was hard to get a good team together. But they had a good team for 2004, right? They had a good team, just couldn't get it done. So, Ebony, your thoughts though on that? Give us a little bit more
I,
insight into how you feel about it.
I feel similar to Trippy, like my guy, my GOAT, my favorite, my all-time favorite player. He didn't get a championship. He couldn't even get a gold. Like
Hmm.
that was the one time he played for the Olympics and we couldn't get it done. But yeah, that team, it did a lot of it didn't make sense. Carlos Boozer, I was never a big fan of. He was on that team, so that tells me all I need to know. I was never a Carlos Boozer fan, but I just think that we needed this Olympic show that people were starting to catch up and pay attention to our game now.
That's right. Yeah.
Manu was big for the Euro step. He
Yeah.
brought that there. So they brought a different type of flair. They had ball movement and, fundamentally sound, basically. It was not dependent on the athletics. So it kind of was like a wake-up call for the whole basketball in America, I guess you want to say. Like,
Yep.
all right, we got to get it together now. This is our game, but people are catching up and they're trying to take over when you think about it because we got bronze. So
That's right.
we,
And
sorry.
that was the other aspect to it, right? Was that the world was starting to catch up too. So, if the squabbles internally within Team USA between coaches and players, I guess the refusal for players to play because of previous tournament outcomes like the 2002 World Cup, and the seemingly apparently another thing that put guys off was how close the final was in 2000 in the Olympics. They didn't really like that. They thought they were better than that. But that doesn't help, right? When your superstars sit there and say, we don't want to play, it really doesn't help. And that was what we saw the opposite of. So, you start out the NBA, the allowance of NBA players in it and at 1992, and they all jump at the chance. And you get all these great players throughout the 90s. And then by the time the turn of the century comes, after that very first tournament at the turn of the century being the Olympics, guys don't want to play anymore because of whatever reasons. Now that made it tough because you had some of the best players in the league. Obviously, you had the second coming of Michael Jordan, arguably, and Kobe Bryant, who was sort of starting to really peak at the height of his thing. He didn't want to play. Kevin